when young black men try to improve their literacy and improve their competency in America, it all often gets shat on. I'm here today to talk about Kai Cenat and the consistent backlash of him trying to improve his literacy, improve his mindset, and everything in between. I think it all started when Kai said he was reading Atomic Habits, honestly. And Atomic Habits is a pretty popular self development book, probably the most popular self development book that we have in our modern time. And when Kai said he was reading this book, I think that's when the controversy all started. I think that when Kai said, "Hey, I'm reading Atomic Habits. I'm trying to improve my life. I'm trying to improve my literacy. I'm trying to improve my mind, and I'm going through a lot of mental struggles." People are like, "Oh, mental struggles? Like, what mental struggles could you be having as a millionaire in a mansion, and you got all these Twitch followers, and you got all these, all these followers, and all this attention on you?" And I feel like people don't honestly understand that there is so much pressure on a young black man in America to improve and to basically prove himself to the masses of society, especially if you're in Kai's position. Kai is a very well-known streamer, well-known YouTuber, and he is very keen on his influence and his impact on the younger generation. And I feel like a lot of people don't realize that Kai is finally feeling that pressure. He's finally feeling that anxiety. He's only like 23, 24, so he's really young, and he's really feeling that responsibility to be something more than just this face behind a desktop or this face behind a screen. He's feeling like the need to, hey, some of these kids in chat, they don't really have the competency to talk to their teachers and talk to their family in a intelligent manner. And he's been saying that he wanted to express himself more intelligently, more coherently, and a lot of people are clowning on him for that. And I believe the main root reason for that is because Kai is a he's a very loud personality. He's a very vibrant personality. He has a very welcoming personality. So when you have such a very vibrant and loud and in your face personality, people aren't going to take you seriously um, when it comes to you wanting to improve yourself and have self improvement and realizing within yourself that you are much more than that loud, that vibrant, that rambunctious self. And Kai is known for his loud streams and stuff like that, his yelling and stuff like that. But at the end of the day, Kai is also human, and beyond the camera, he's probably something completely different than he is on camera, than he presents himself on camera to be. And I feel like a lot of people don't realize that and think these streamers and these YouTubers and these influencers are just, eye candy that we can just nitpick and cherry pick certain things that they do and cherry pick, oh, this is why they thought this way or this is why they're, going this tangent and stuff like that. And I feel like with Kai reading Atomic Habits and Kai reading the 48 Laws of Power probably soon, and Kai diving into these adventures and these ventures to seek understanding and seek knowledge. And because I've read Atomic Habits before, and I'm going back and reading it right now. It's back there on my shelf, and I'm steadily trying to improve myself. And I'm 28, so like I've constantly had to stop and start and have to steadily improve myself and steadily be better for the people around me and better for my peers and whatnot. But I will say that I applaud Kai for being so vulnerable, and especially at his stature, for being so vulnerable and being so open to the concept of being honest and very thoughtful on camera because and honest about his literacy problems and honest about his his upbringing and his what he's been through as a person and as a human being and just constantly trying to improve himself and trying to self develop himself as a man and as a black man in America. I feel like that is very thoughtful of him, very eye opening of himself, like seeing that I am much more than just this yelling personality, this loud personality on Twitch. I can be so much more. I can show so much more. I can show that and then people calling him dumb or stupid for reading only 20 minutes and looking up words in the book that he doesn't understand. I don't remember when it was not okay to look up words in a book that I don't understand. If I don't understand the word, the best knowledge to gain is looking up that word and understanding what it means in the context of the sentence that I'm reading. I feel like that's like just not discouraging literacy is the lack of intellectual awareness. I feel like discouraging literacy is like discouraging people to learn is very toxic. It's a very toxic nature, and it's the internet, you know, Twitter, Twitch, YouTube, all that stuff. Like it's very toxic and it's very reprimanding, for lack of better terms, to clown on someone for opening up about, oh, I struggle with words. I still struggle to this day with words. I struggle with being on cam. I struggle with a lot of anxieties I've built up over the years. I struggle with a lot of things, but to steadily improve on those struggles, you have to face those struggles head on, and you have to um, get that knowledge into seeped into your brain. I feel like it's just idiotic to clown on someone for wanting to improve their literacy. He didn't know the word spontaneity, and obviously I know what the word spontaneity means, but I wasn't clowning on him for looking up the word on Google to know what it meant and how to pronounce it too. Because a lot of the problem with literacy in America is we don't teach the ways to pronounce a word because different words may have different meanings based on the way you pronounce them. So him looking up the word, but also learning the pronunciation of the word and learning the definition of the word at the same time, it helps out so much more than him just knowing the word and knowing what it meant, because he could have pronounced it completely differently because he didn't know how to pronounce it either. So him learning how to pronounce that word, and that will be baked into his vocabulary and his vernacular now, that he knows how to pronounce the word and knows what the word means. Spontaneity is not a common word that we use in everyday language and everyday sentences. Like we don't use that word. Like I'm not just gonna say, oh, the spontaneity, like nobody uses that word on a regular basis. I might say something is spontaneous, but I'm not saying spontaneity on a regular basis. And I feel like vocabulary and vernacular is very important in America, and that's where we're lacking a lot of. Um, I don't want to go into politics, but that's where we're lacking a lot of in America. Um, some of our politicians and some of our elected officials and some of our influencers, our celebrities, our doctors, our lawyers, our teachers, anybody with an occupation dealing with the public, front facing the public, they are lacking literacy, lacking knowledge. They're not seeking knowledge. They're not seeking the knowledge that they need to seek. They're not finding knowledge. They're not actively trying to learn. They're not like actively trying to learn, so therefore they can't teach. If you don't learn, then you can't teach. So that's big. That's a big part of why society is the way it is today, because we're not trying to learn, so therefore we cannot teach what we have learned. Um, you'll only learn. You'll only be taught if you can be learned. If you can learn, and I feel like we have a lot of teachers, but we don't have a lot of learners. We have a lot of people that want to teach, but a lot of people that don't want to learn. So then we have a crisis where the learners are having to teach the teachers, and then the teachers aren't learning enough. So we're having this big old education crisis and wondering why our kids are in ninth grade, but they're stuck on a fourth grade reading level because people are teaching a whole lot, but they ain't learning a whole lot. So they can't teach because they're not learning. It's a whole cycle. You gotta learn to teach, and you gotta teach to learn. Anyway, back to Kai. I applaud Kai. I think Kai is a great example of what you should be doing with your platform. You should be teaching the youth if you are in that position to teach the youth about your shortcomings and how you deal with those shortcomings. Because he was, I just watched a video of his. I didn't watch the whole video, but he was listening to Blonde Frank Ocean for the first time properly. He was reading the lyrics and learning what the lyrics actually meant to him and meant to the masses at the time, I guess. I have to continue to watch that video to see what he learns about Blonde by Frank Ocean. Guys, I think Blonde is a very intricate album, and it's a very, very heavy album to start with. I feel like Mr. Morale and the Big Steppers is an album I'm going to get into. I'm gonna have a series on Mr. Morale and the Big Steppers coming here soon, where I deep dive each track and I dissect the tracks bit by bit, piece by piece, and I see what lyrics really, um, I guess define what I'm trying to seek in the Mr. Morale and the Big Steppers album by Kendrick Lamar, which is a huge therapy album, huge therapy piece for me as a black man in America. But yeah, literacy is important. Learning is important. Learning how to use that literacy is important. I feel like what Kai is doing is very important, is very substantial. I feel like not a whole lot of influencers are doing that. What Speed is doing, educating the youth that didn't have National Geographic growing up, and using his platform to show different places around the world. I feel like that's important too. And we need to stop clowning people for trying to learn, trying to improve their literacy, because it's a joke to clown somebody for trying to improve their literacy, trying to learn, trying to be better. And I just had this thought on my mind. I was like, I'm not gonna script this video because it's like it was just lingering on my mind, like it was lingering on my heart, honestly, that we often clown young black men for doing the wrong thing, which we should, but we shouldn't do that when they're trying to do the right thing. You know what I'm saying? Like, Kai is doing the absolute right thing in his right mind. He is taking a step forward in his literacy journey. I feel like that's a that's a milestone in itself. And we're clowning that man for what? Taking a leap and a bound for his own literacy sake, for his own legacy. That doesn't really make sense to me, honestly. I know I'm just yapping now, but I'm just saying, like, why do we clown people for the things that they should be doing rather than for things they shouldn't be doing? Just because you can doesn't mean you should. And I believe that wholeheartedly. Just because Kai is this multimillionaire doesn't mean he doesn't have mental health issues. Doesn't mean he doesn't deal with anxiety. He probably deals with anxiety on a daily basis. But you wouldn't know that because you're not in that position. So you don't know what you would be, what feelings and what emotions you would be facing at his position because you're not in that position. You probably never be in that position. A lot of people won't be in that position. So for us to sit here and clown him for, oh, I got mental health issues, yada yada yada. Oh, I'm dealing with this. Oh, I'm reading Atomic Habits 20 minutes at a time so I can improve on my literacy and on my accuracy with words. So I'm using the right words in the right situations so I am expressing myself in a more intelligent and more coherent way in arguments and in business dealings and stuff like that. That makes a lot of sense to me, honestly. It doesn't make sense for us to clown him for that, especially black folks. Like, why are we clowning a young black man who's successful? People have too much time on their hands. Why are we clowning a young black man who's successful at what he does and clowning him from using his platform in the right way, rather than some of these idiots on the internet that are also black? And I can say that because I am black, for using their platform in the wrong way, and they're using their platform to spread hate and spread toxicity and stuff like that. We could be aiming the finger at them, but we're not. We're aiming the finger at Kai Cenat, who wants to read Atomic Habits and improve his literacy. That's the dumbest thing ever. But anyway, I'm gonna get off of here. I'll see y'all guys in the next video. It's probably gonna be a ASAP Rocky Don't Be Dumb reaction review video because that comes out tonight. But I will see y'all guys in the next video. Peace.